Science with Folly.
Kia ora, welcome to Science with Folly. Today, we're going to be learning about molecular substances. First thing we need to know is that all molecular substances are made up of molecules. And what's a molecule? Well, a molecule are two or more atoms, usually non-metals, joined together by covalent bonds. For example, water is a molecular substance and it's made up of water molecules. If I've got a glass of water, there's millions and millions of water molecules in that glass of water. One thing we need to think about when learning about molecular substances is that not all compounds are molecules and not all molecules are compounds. Hopefully you know this already. For example, NaCl, sodium chloride, is a compound, but it's not a molecule. What is NaCl? That's right, it's an ionic compound, but it's not a molecule. H2O, water on the other hand, is a compound because it's made up of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, and it exists as a molecule. Whereas oxygen gas is not a compound because it only contains oxygen atoms. It's an element, but an oxygen molecule is a molecule because it contains two oxygen atoms bonded together. So if molecules are held together by covalent bonds, what is a covalent bond? We already know what an ionic bond is. That's to do with the force of attraction between oppositely charged particles, but covalent bonds are different. They are very strong, but they involve the sharing of a pair or pairs of valence electrons in order to have a full valence shell. Now, why would an atom want to have a full valence shell? I think you know the answer to that. Now, here's an example. I've got a carbon atom in the middle. And as you know, carbon, because it is in group 14, has 4 valence electrons. It wants to get 8 to have a full outer shell and be stable. Hydrogen has 1 valence electron and it wants to have 2 to have a full valence shell. So what they do is the hydrogen shares one of carbon's electrons and then hydrogen gets a full valence shell, and this happens with all 4 hydrogens. And carbon shares all of those electrons, so it gets 8 in its valence shell. And each of these is a covalent bond. So just to recap, a molecular substance is a substance made of molecules. Make sure you watch the next video in which we're going to look at molecular diagrams and why different molecules have different shapes. I think I'll just have myself a cup of water molecules. Ka kite anō.
Science with Folly.